Hey everyone, hope you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis updated commodities, work our way through the dollar, yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow. I'll interject my financial opinions as we go through it. And if you need help with anything, check out finding-value.com. I dive deeper into all these sectors, looking for potential investment opportunities in individual companies, sectors. We also do a lot of training. I answer a lot of questions that people have about the markets, psychological and or technical questions about the market, macro picture views, all of those things. If that interests you in learning the markets, Mayday coupon code can save you some money if you'd like to sign up. We do have the midweek update that was released today. Check it out. And we've got a Saturday question and answer session coming up at 7 a.m. Mountain Time this weekend. Let's dive in and take a look and see what's going on. Right now, we are seeing continued strength in the dollar, and this is a pretty big move for the dollar, up 0.44%. We've had a lot of strength ever since the end of September, so September 30th, lots of dollar strength. This is normal to some degree. What you do is you pop out of a pattern, you break down, and what we've seen is a return move of that pattern, potentially somewhere in this range. The question is, are we going to roll back over when we get there? Or are we going to continue higher and break on through? The answer, for the most part, I think, is in interest rates and what interest rates do. Now, I can't tell you if we're going to break through or if we're going to roll over, but I think that it's going to lie in what interest rates do. The reason this is a big deal and the dollar strengthening is because a lot of our commodities are priced in dollars. And the numerator, if it is going up, is going to change money flows in the system to some degree for a little bit. So if we go on up and the dollar is strengthening still, it's a little bit of a headwind for all of the commodities, precious metals, and things that are priced in dollars. The 2-year yield looking pretty strong, working its way on up today, 1.57%. The momentum is still to the upside in the short term. We've broken on the medium term to the downside, but we are getting a return move upwards. And again, the question then lies, is this a bottoming pattern where we break out, or do we come up and turn and roll over? I wish I knew that answer, guys, but that's what we're looking at. There is a lot of resistance through this section right above us. So we'll see if we can punch through resistance or if we get denied, rejected. 10-year yield also heading higher, and that does look very strong. Good momentum being generated to the upside here. And the 30-year up, and we're right at that resistance level on the 30-year. There's the resistance level. That looks pretty strong to potentially cut through it. We'll see if we cut through it over the next few trading sessions and what this looks like on the 30-year yield here. TYX-TNX ratio, the curve is inverting, so we're coming back down in the short term. Is it going to invert all the way back down? Or is this just a temporary move where we bottom and turn around? If you're in the recession camp, this goes higher, precious metals go up, and yields will eventually fall. If you're in the inflation camp and you think oil is going to go up and we see a break in oil, I very well could be convinced that interest rates could go up. So the question is this a temporary move or is it more of a false breakdown where we moonshot to the upside? There are very good arguments on both sides, depending on what data you use. You could use unemployment rate, and unemployment rate, you could argue, is supportive of a recession slowdown, which would mean that these would fall. You could also look at housing market data, like U.S. all construction employment and stuff like that, which is very strong. So which one is it? Don't know. A lot of people don't know this. I think we've got a lot of mixed information here. They are fiscal spending. They're spending like heck fiscally. which then makes a lot of people think that we are not going to see the slowdown that other people think is coming. So it's a tough one. It's a coin flip here. Coming down to the bond prices are still pulling back, but we are still, we've broken out and we're still above a lot of support. However, which way you cut this, it's still above that support. We'll have to see if it holds, is what I'll say there. It does look good. We have a bullish engulfing yesterday, and we do have small selling pressure today, so we very well could try to bottom here and try turning around. The 2 and 10, we inverted just a tad. It was up 0.07%, so basically flat. So in the short term, we've been working our way up, inverting the yield curve still. And those rates have been coming upward, not downward. Usually in recessions, what I've seen is rates drop like a rock. They don't go up like this. they fall off a cliff. Looking at previous ones, you can see the recessions and where they have fallen. They have fallen off a cliff. So is this just a temporary pause where we then fall off the cliff and work our way lower to where this box is? Let me get off the logarithmic, where we come back up, oops, and roll over back to down here? Or is this more of a permanent thing where we start to work our way on up? I'm in the camp that I think we could still go lower in the short term. So short term up, and then we roll and roll over. That's the camp that I still think we're in. And that's why gold and silver, they still look very good. And that is, gold and silver is a function of this falling. It's a function of yields getting a little bit weaker. So gold's down a little bit today because of that strong dollar, strong yields. But we're not falling off a cliff. When gold is topping, what generally happens is you start to generate big momentum, these big selling pressure candlesticks. That's when you know you're you're in the wrong market condition. But right now, we've got this nice kind of breakout that we've got from that position, and I don't see huge selling pressure yet, not yet. So everything looks okay, and I would chalk this up to a potential flag pattern that we're seeing. So it still looks okay. If we dive bomb with a large selling pressure candlestick and really start to gain traction, then I might change my mind at that time. We've got lots of support here at about $2,600, $2,560. Silver still looking good. We are above support. We've broken out, and this could just be a retest. So don't get discouraged. Don't get frustrated. Be patient. Patience will get paid if we see support here and start to move. You can also look across at other support levels through here sideways, which we'll get to in this general area. Platinum down just a teeny bit. We're doing a little retest off this breakout here, so I think this is a good spot to be looking for platinum. And palladium breaking higher today, 3.7%, looking pretty strong. We've got a downtrend kind of going through here. We rounded the bottom out. We're starting to work our way on up off of that support level. The support level's this big long-term, we go logarithmic, this big long-term downtrend line, or uptrend line, I should say. And we've got support on the horizontal trend line. So all of our support is through this area, which is no surprise. We found support there, and we're starting to work our way on up. Is this going to be one easy ride? I don't know about that. A lot of the times when you get these big moves lower, you consolidate for a little bit before heading higher. Just like we did here. You break out, and then you come back and you consolidate a little bit here. 3 big consolidations on that point before ripping to all-time highs. Again, I don't know if that will repeat like that, but that's where we're at. GDX down slightly. Now, if this was a weak sector, we should be seeing this selling off. It's not. It's not selling off with gold down $7.7 an ounce. It's holding in there. It looks good. We're up above support on a lot of these. I think everything looks excellent still. What's occurring is the strong dollar and strong interest rates are holding this back. And that's across the board. So SILJ moving sideways is a form of strength, not weakness. Even though we didn't go anywhere, you have to read into all this. Money's not necessarily flowing into this sector with strong dollar and strong yields. XEU to gold ratio up just a little bit, showing that outperformance and strength. People are buying the equities, and we're still above the long-term downtrend line that we've got here, and we've got not much selling pressure. So I see this as a move up and a consolidation that we are going through at this time, and it's consolidating from strong dollar, strong yields. Crude oil down just a teeny bit today. We're still above support. Everything looks okay at this time. To me, this kind of looks like that double bottom we've seen in a lot of stuff coming through here. You usually get a support resistance line going through there. Oh my goodness. I'll draw one through here. Right there. Let me put it as white. So that's the line I'm talking about right there. We came back and touched it and used it as support today. And we got support at this blue line going across too, which is this guy going across here. So we're at support. It's holding. Everything looks okay at the moment. TTF gas down just a little bit. So we bounced off this resistance line up there. So just getting a little bit of resistance through that section through here. And we've been heading a little bit lower. Natural gas in America, we're bouncing, pulling on back for natural gas. And that does look like we got some momentum where we could pull back further in the short term. Our boy XOP, yeah, you know me, we are sideways today. We are still above this support trend line, and we are underneath a lot of resistance through this section up there. So that's what we've got going there. OIH also down a little bit, and I think that's just following XOP and where that's going. Newcastle coal futures pulled back a little bit, 2.5%. I think this still looks good. The way that I view this is you get a big pullback, you go sideways with your consolidation, you look at the low, and then you have higher lows kind of coming up through here. So that still looks good, and it will intersect resistance that is above us and hopefully break through it. So we'll see if that occurs. We've got Sprott Physical Uranium Trust down 1%. It's not a reversal candlestick. The momentum is still to the upside, still looks good. Uranium futures pricing working its way on up slowly, still looks good, momentum up. URA, a little bit of selling pressure. URNM and URNJ getting selling pressure across the board. That's that double bottom we saw, very similar to crude oil. We broke out and we've just been consolidating sideways. So it's neither bullish or bearish. I would say it's bullish because we've come on up and we're just consolidating with not much selling pressure. So it's good. Copper down a little bit. Looks like it's kind of leaking off a little bit of price. It's a little bit of selling pressure there. And that does look like we could continue. We've got COPX also down just a teeny bit. We could come all the way back and do a retest. That is a possibility. And the retest zone could be somewhere down here if it decides to go all the way back down. Iron ore down just a teeny bit. It's just been leaking off a little bit of selling pressure above support. The support line is that white line on the bottom there that I've drawn. And we're right in that general location of support. Aluminum selling off a little bit today. We are coming back off that resistance level. So what we want to watch now is a low, a higher low, and are we going to get a higher low as we continue to step in here? That would be a higher low if we bottom in that general box. Nickel down a teeny bit. It's been working its way on up here. It still looks good to go up. And it's the selling pressure against the buying pressure coming up where you think it's just a flag pattern consolidation, still looks okay. And it's that double bottom pattern that we're seeing, much like uranium has had and crude oil. Mu down just a teeny bit, 0.2%. And again, I think it looks good to continue higher. Support's underneath us. We've broken out to the upside of the falling wedge. So it's up, 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 up until we break these support levels. Emerging markets down 0.54%. Obviously, we had a lot of strength in the dollar in yields, and that's going to weigh on emerging markets and some of these interest rate sensitive sectors that we're going through here. KRE, it's still in the pattern, still looking good. Got a nice little bullish engulfing. Looks like it could potentially go higher. I drew that pattern a while back. It looks pretty solid. We've got TAN down a little bit, more of an interest rate sensitive sector. These are all interest rate sensitive coming up here. So TAN's down, lithium's down 2.5%, and REMX is down a little bit. But they're holding together. They're holding together in the face of a really strong dollar and yields. Baltic Dry Index is down a little bit too, and supports right where we're at, about 1750 or so. We've got XHB surprisingly holding on. It's almost like we're going into an expansion phase of real estate or something like that, or the markets are anticipating further moves lower in interest rates. But XHB is holding on top of its pattern. It's above support. You're not getting a ton of selling pressure up here. Notice that the candlesticks are all small. So the buyers and sellers are equaling each other, not a ton of selling pressure. There's one kind of candlestick there, but support's holding. It looks okay. It looks okay at this time. If we get some big selling pressure, which could come, that's what we're looking for next. And the reason I say that is this is a bearish engulfing here, and we're slightly coming up. So we could get a little bit of a bearish candlestick formation where we could head lower if rates continue on up. Russell 2000, above support, still looking good. Still looking good. Not much selling pressure here. That is bullish. We've got the S&P 500 is still going up 0.7%, and it looks bullish. Bullish formation breaking out of resistance. We've got NASDAQ continuing higher, 0.6%, and we've broken through this. So we are working our way on up still. I'm curious to see if the strength continues after elections. SMCI up 4.2%, but this is off of a pretty big move lower. That's a flag pattern lower, so we'll see if it can put something together here. It is trying to put something together here. We had a bearish engulfing, small little consolidation, and then a bullish setup, and that could be changing the tide of this downward move to an upward move, and we'll have to wait and see if the buyers step in here. NVIDIA, that's broken out of its resistance, and it still has upward momentum. We've got Bitcoin down 2.2%. That is a bearish flag pattern that we could continue lower. So that looks a little bit bearish still. And Ethereum has that same bearish tint to it. We came down, and you've got a consolidation here, which we very well could break lower in this bearish engulfing that we just have seen today. But that's what I've got for today. Give me a thumb up for the content, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website. Mayday coupon code if you're interested. And that's all I've got. Don't forget Saturday question and answer session coming up at 7 a.m. If you're interested in learning what I know about the markets, and there's a lot of information that I've probably forgotten in this brain if people can dig it out of me. We will talk about potential setups in the markets. We'll probably talk a little bit about strategies around setups and the different companies and what I think of that. So that's probably what's coming this weekend. That's kind of where my mind is at currently. And that talks about, larger companies, small cap companies, companies that don't make any cash flow, kind of all that stuff. So if you're interested, definitely sign up, attend the 7 a.m. session. And if you can't attend, I also record them and put them on the website. All right, guys, we'll catch you later.